Welcome to hashtag Mom Squad. Diagnosis,
Mom Polar.
If you missed last week's video, don't forget to check us out. And make sure you like and subscribe because we need followers. You know you want to follow us. I'm Tabitha, and I'll be your moderator today.
I'm Carrie.
I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Candace.
Topic today is working moms and finding a balance. And I'm sure that's a lot of everyone that's watching are working moms. Caitlin is a brand new working mom. We're super excited for her feedback because she's going to be able to tell us which is which. It is hard finding your balance because I don't know the rest of you, but I work 8 to 5, come home, cook dinner, get life together. There's usually a practice or a youth or a something another. However, I'm about to be blessed with a driver in the house, and so that's
Blessed or cursed.
a little bit of both. So that's going to kind of help me out. How do you guys find your balance? How do you guys find your balance? If you have ideas, comment. We need to know. We're a community of needies.
I think for me, you know, I was fortunate enough to be able to bring Allie to work with me. And so working at the daycare, being able to go, it was still hard, like dropping her off for the first time, you know, but I was able to go and nurse her. So they would just call me and they're like, hey, I need you to punch out, Allie needs to be fed. And I would go and nurse her, and then I'd go back to my room and stuff like that.
Punch out to feed her?
Yeah, because I couldn't do it on the clock. I would just, instead of like an hour break, I would take like 4 15-minute breaks.
Oh.
Yeah. So, so that was a blessing, you know, and I worked with her up until she was like right at 2. And then I got another job. And so that was the first time that I was away from her. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great because, like, you know, when you work with her, and she was in my class for a while, and by the time I got home with her, like, I was just done. I was like, I don't want to, you're driving me crazy, like, go.
You're a lot.
And so I was, like, excited, but it's still been a struggle because, like, it's like she's like, I'm exhausted, you know, and so she's like, but she still wants my attention. And so I'm just like, oh, okay.
Do you see her needing your attention more now that you guys aren't together throughout the day?
She has a lot of social anxiety issues with me anyway, so I think it's really hard. I think it's that age right now that she's in, and she's very attached to me, so I think both has been very difficult. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, mine, I've kind of had to figure out a different balance. I've always been working since I've had my kids, but I used to work hours. I'd go in at 6 o'clock and get off about 2:30, 3 o'clock. So I still had like all afternoon where I could do homework, spend time with the kids, get them to practices, things like that. I now have a new job, which causes my hours. Sorry, am I wiggling too much for you?
No.
Like, stop me. Wiggle. Yeah, so with my new job, though, my hours have changed. So I don't get home until 5:30, 5:45 some nights, sometimes even 6 o'clock some nights. And then trying to figure out dinner and then trying to have that time with my kids. So it is, luckily, you know, I do have Brian, who is a big help here because he does get off at 2:30. So he's home to get the kids off the bus and get things started for me. But
Does
it's
he
like,
cook dinner for you?
No.
Brian?
No, it's been pretty much like crock pot meals or things like, you know, tacos.
See, I didn't have this information then when I talked to him, but now I know this information. Like, he's not cooking.
Nope.
We're gonna have another talk.
Which is okay. Like, I don't mind cooking, and he helps when he can. I think it's different. Like, for guys, it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like even though it is still their responsibility, like, I still feel like it still falls on me as the mom.
Yeah.
Like, I have to ask him permission to, like, you know, where it's just like expected of me, but you have to ask them.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair, does it?
It doesn't.
That's not the way it works in my house.
No,
you're very
Ryan
dumb
asks.
at that.
So you come from a couple of years of not working at all, and now you're a while actually.
Yeah.
In the workforce. How are you learning?
And full time in the workforce. Like, I didn't ease into it.
You
I
just went
went
full blast.
8 to 5, Monday to Friday, some Saturdays.
So how are you balancing? How is it working for you? Do you have
I think my hardest thing is that when I get home, sometimes I'm so exhausted from working that, like,
and it's not physical, it's a mental.
But I'm just like, I don't want the kid, I'm like, y'all go sit in a room, but I want to be with the kids, you know, like I've missed them and I want to be with them. So it's difficult to find that balance, that you know, and for me, I am very, very, very fortunate to have Ryan, who, after he works a physically and mentally exhausting job, comes home every night, stops at the grocery store on his way home, he decides what we're having for dinner, because
he does?
I hate
Oh man,
making that decision. I hate it. It drives me nuts. And so he, for the most part, will decide what we're having. He will come home and he starts cooking. We normally try to cook together, but he always takes the lead and cooks, and you know, and then the kids clean up and we go to bed. It does. And
unless you get unexpected visitors looking to look at your animals or to visit, then you're like,
we have unexpected visitors
like,
every day, all the time, but we love that. So, but we have, as a family, have had to find a balance, you know, even with the kids being sick. Like, they can't just take off school because they don't feel good. It's like, no, mom's got to go to work. You have to go to school. I mean, I'm sorry that you aren't, you know, I'm sorry that you stayed up too late. I'm sorry that you know, my kids have always just been like, oh, mom will be there. Yeah, I'm tired. I don't want to go to school today.
How do you feel about that, with feeling that way? Like, now if they're like kind of sick, you're like, I have to work.
And that sucks. Yeah. Especially like the little ones when they can't go to school. And again, I'm very fortunate that I have my mom and my dad who help out a lot. A couple weeks ago, I actually let Hudson stay home from school to watch one of the little girls because she couldn't go to school. And he was like, we've had a snow week or a snow, you know, day all week long. And it was Friday, and he's like, we're not going to be doing anything. I'll just stay home and watch her. And it helped, but I felt like a terrible mom all day because I'm like, I'm allowing one of my kids to miss school when he's not sick to take care of another kid that, you know,
like that's your job.
Yes, I feel like I should just be able to go and do that. But because it's a new job, and because I'm the only one to do it, it's not like I can just call in and somebody else comes in for me. Like, I'm in. I mean, it's either me or it's my boss, and I hate putting that on her. You know? So,
and you have amazing work ethic. Like, when you're in a job, you don't just give 100%. You are giving 110. Like, you always go above and beyond.
She does,
And so you don't
know, not just how work, but like
everything
except everything except like my home life, like
cleaning,
cooking, being a mom.
Domestication. That's one. Being domestic is not a thing.
No, that's the hard thing that we're dealing with too with the new job. You know, when I was working at the daycare, it's a much more flexible. I mean, even though I was there all the time and I worked a lot, it was a little more flexible. If, you know, my kids were sick, I stayed home with them. I could easily take a lunch break or do whatever, whenever. You know, I could take a day here and there, you know, because like Hayden, I used to go and have lunch with her every so often. Or, you know, I get off early enough, you know, or I could go and do things with them or go in late. And so, you know, it's been hard for Hayden this year, who's been like, you know, when are you going to have lunch with me?
And you're like,
I have an hour lunch break. That's all I can have. And I mean, it's not like it's really close. I have to really backtrack to go have lunch with her. And my work is awesome. Like, they would probably have no problem with me, you know, taking a few 15 minutes or so. Right. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, so that's kind of the hard thing right now, is trying to get them used to things I used to be able to do, you know, like, because Landon too, he's getting ready to do his big kindergarten field trip. I went with Hayden.
You have to go with him.
And so now he's like, are you going to go with me? Are you going to go to my field day? I can't just take those days off now. Like, I just can't.
And I remember as a kid how important that was, how exciting that was, that my mom was coming on a field trip, or that my mom was coming to school, or, you know, I remember that stuff. Like, that's stuff that I remember.
Every trip that I took with Kenzie, I had to take with Jay. Like, it just... I had to experience that with that individual child, and so that's been kind of fun.
Well, and those are the things too. It's not just, you know, when they're sick or, you know, when you're home with them. Like, you have to find a balance in the important things in their lives that they want to have field trips and
things that
you know, the DARE graduation, and you know, I was already like, oh my gosh, the end of the school year is coming up. I mean, we're halfway through.
You're having a plan.
And I'm going to have to ask off for a 5th grade graduation. I'm going to have to ask off for an awards day at the middle school. I'm going to have to ask off for, I'm sure, some type of end of year thing at the daycare. And like, it's like, I hate doing that. I hate.
Because you feel like they think oh, she just can take off anytime she
Yeah.
wants to. Yeah, I get it.
And I work with several people who, you know, two of our designers don't have kids, have never
They
had
don't
kids.
understand it,
They have no idea
Mm-hmm.
what it's like to be a
Yeah.
mom. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I get a lot of, you know, well, nowadays these parents, blah, 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 blah. And actually the other day I bit the head off of one of our designers because I was like, until you have your own children, do not, he wasn't even talking to me, he was talking to another mom that
Yeah.
works there. And I was like, do not tell any mother how to raise her child,
Yeah, exactly.
how to do it,
Yeah.
because you have no idea what it's like to have kids. Okay,
Yeah.
your
And
entire
the
life
thing
is
is,
Not
all
even
I
that.
do.
Every
Yeah.
situation's different.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you don't
But
know what
I
they're
can
going
remember,
through.
you know, I'm an older mom, you know, so I can remember all my friends and family having children, and I'm like, oh, I'd never do that, or I'm not, you know, and it's your child it's a different story.
Yeah.
You know, the things that you said I will never do,
It comes first.
it bites you back. You know,
Mhm.
you're just like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's definitely not happening. you
Yeah,
know?
no, it's not happening now. So I'm thankful enough that I have my mom. So when my kids are sick, I send a text, hey, think you can check on them later? And, you know, she doesn't work, and so it's easy for her to come over, hang out, she has like a routine. She brings some medicine, ginger ale, soup, and something else. You know, I don't give my mom a lot of credit because she's a little, but when it comes to stuff like that, she is on top of it and on her game, and she's like, I'll be over there. That being said,
Does
also,
your mom work?
no, my mom doesn't
Okay.
work. That being said, I have a really good boss. Like, I have probably one of the best bosses ever. If I go to her and I'm like, oh my god, like, this is coming up, she's like, I have to leave at 2:30 on Friday. She didn't ask me why. She's like, just make sure you clock out. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you. Before, when I first started my job at Republic, or I don't think I'm supposed to say that. I don't know. I would cry when I had to
Mhm.
ask off. Like, it petrified me.
Yeah.
Because my boss didn't have kids,
Mhm.
so she didn't understand, and it was like, oh.
And you know how
Yeah.
as an employee, how inconvenient it is when
Yeah.
other people don't show up.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
you're there, and that's one thing I love about my job right now. If somebody doesn't show up, it does not affect me at all. I don't care, you know, and
ain't
that
your
is
problem.
such a nice thing to go to bed like on Sunday night, thinking like, oh, who's calling in tomorrow? I don't care because tomorrow
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting myself into, you know, and it is nice for me too. If Allie is sick, I just call a substitute.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And my work is ready for them, and you know,
They're
and
ready
I
to go.
know that everything's taken care of.
So we have buddies at our work.
Mhm.
So if you have to be off, you have to kind of tell your buddy, hey, I'm going to be off this time. But if it's like an impromptu, hey, I'm in the hospital, then, you know, they take up your job and they do it, and it's fine. So I used to hate taking off work.
Mhm.
And then my boss, who I have now, looked at me and she said, I'm going to tell you something that's going to sound crazy. I'll never put you in a position where you can't go do something with your child.
Mhm.
Because I was in that before, and I will never do that to anybody. So, again, lucky for my boss, because she
Yeah.
gets it.
Well, and my boss too has said several times, you know,
Yeah.
she's like, you know, she does not have her own children, but
Mhm.
she's the stepmother to 4. And she was like, I never, even being the stepmom, I never missed a game.
Yeah.
Never. And she was like, and I will do everything in my power to make sure, you know, we have a couple being in the florist industry, we have a couple holidays that are like, you cannot miss.
The big ones.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't care what you have going on Valentine's Day, you will be here. I don't care what you have going on Mother's Day weekend, you will be here. And other than that, you know, she's like, I'm really flexible and I will do my best. And she does, but I still feel bad as the
Yeah.
employee.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I feel
Yeah.
guilty.
It's,
and
it's
that's
my own work ethic.
Yes,
that makes
yeah.
me feel bad. Yeah.
But then
and
I feel guilty
bad,
too.
and then
yeah.
I feel guilty when I'm not with my kids.
I-
you
that's
know?
what I
You know,
said. I
so,
feel
like, it's
guilty.
a constant.
Because even as an adult, like that, if I'm sick, I just want my mom. I had the
I
flu.
do too.
I had the flu last year at this time, and I can just remember just crying, be like, I just want my mom, and she would not come and see me. She was like, I mean, she took my daughter and she
She
dropped
said
her
she was at
off,
home taking care of the
but
kids.
she like.
I do that when I throw up. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
my mom.
because you know your child just wants you, you
Yeah.
know, and it's just like you want to be there for your kid. I think right now what I'm struggling with is not only, you know, Allie's not with me during the day, but about 3 weeks ago I started school again, and
that's
so
another added-
yeah, so I have 3 classes that I'm taking, and they're hard classes, like things that I'm just like, I'm calling my dad. I'm like, Dad, I don't know what apologetics is. Help me, you know? And, you know, so it's just like, and it's very
when you
stressful.
say you're sorry.
I say you need to work on that.
Yeah.
No,
You
I
wouldn't
wish.
know what that is.
You're right, I don't. But like, and like the tests are timed. So like the other day I was taking a test and it was due by like midnight that night or whatever. And so I was taking a test and I'm stressed and I had like, I normally do a lot of things on the weekend and I had a really busy weekend, so I had nothing.
That's
so I
one of
had
those,
I had like 3 tests and like 3 discussion boards and like all the stuff that I had to do, and I'm stressed. And I had told Jeff, I'm like, Jeff, you've got to take care of Allie, you know. And he's sitting there on his computer doing his thing, and I'm trying to take a test, and all of a sudden she comes up to me, Mommy, I want juice. Okay, go talk to your dad. No, I want juice. And like throwing herself on the ground, like pulling out my pants, you know, like screaming. And I'm yelling at her, and I'm just like, go talk to your dad. Like, I'm just so frustrated. And, you know, finally Jeff was like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like, I told you to take care of her. I'm taking a test, you know, like, and because it wasn't one of those things where I could stop and do what I had to do with her. It was time. Like, I had to get that done. And so like, yes.
Okay, good.
And so like afterwards, you know, I was like, Allie, come here. And she's like, no. And I'm like, no, come here. So, you know, and I apologized because I felt bad because she wanted, she's 2. She still needs my help for things. She can't go to the refrigerator, get her juice. You know, I still need to do that. And it's just like, it's hard when I'm at work all day and then I have school at night, and I'm just, and a lot of working moms are going to school, you know?
Or, you know, and then when you try to like, even on top of all of that, you know, so you're balancing work, you're balancing your home. A lot of us balance church. We balance a YouTube channel. We balance our time with our friends and try to keep those relationships going. Yeah. We balance soccer or sports or soccer
on the brain. Started.
We balance our time with spouses and trying to keep our marriage healthy. I mean, we are constantly balancing so many things, and somehow I feel like for me, it's my kids are always the one
getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah, I do too. That I do a lot of, and then especially now that they're older, and I'm looking back, and I'm like, God, I miss so many missed opportunities.
And I have yelled at Ryan about that for years. You know,
now it's
like,
kind of like,
yeah, like I see it, you know. I mean, I have spent years telling him, why are we always the one to get? And he's like, because you guys can handle it. You know, you guys get pushed back because I will get to it, right? But if I push my job off, I get fired. If I push my friends off, they stop being friends with me. If I push my family off, then they're mad. You know, like he's like, you are the one I can push off and push off and push off and push off. And you're still going to be there, and you're still going to love me, and you're still going to, you know, and I get it now. Like, I get that you can't just.
Right. And my kids understand, too, that, like, I work very hard for everything we have and everything we do. And so they get it, but at the same time, they're like that. Like, you just kind of push us off. Like, when they're on school teams, I don't get to go to every game. I get to pick 2 games and go to them. And my boss usually comes with me to make a big fuss about them and makes a big deal, but I don't get to come to every game like every other parent who stays home or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, do you like food on the table? Because this is what's happening.
Well, and for you're a single mom too, you know, so you don't have that extra support.
Right. I have my sister, but she works 60 hours a week too, so it's like,
well, and truthfully, again,
because I've got to go there all the time. It doesn't matter what time of day, what day it is, she is there.
I mean, but at the same time, like, you as a mom know that's not her responsibility. You know what I mean? And even though she would do anything for you,
like there's that mom thing.
It's still different as a single mom working hard, providing for a whole family, and you know, and you just got a new house. And so, you know, you have all these things that you have to, you know, you can't just be like, oh, let's just do whatever we want, you know?
And then I look at, you know, last week I wasn't here because my Mamie passed, and I looked at her life, like, just kind of reflected because they talked about her so much, and everybody was celebrating her, and, you know, she worked full-time. She was a teacher. And so she somehow managed 3 kids, a job, a husband, a farm, a trucking business. Like, I mean, she went to cosmetology school to do hair. Like, she was loved. and her kids adored her. Her grandkids adored her. And I'm like, oh my God, if I could just be like Mamie, like I will be it, like creme de la creme, you know, because she was like full of life and love and laughter. And so that's how you saw her. But she also had a, you know, bad side, mean side. But we never saw it.
I mean, the thing is like, I'm sure if she was here, she could sit down and tell you, I always felt like I was shortchanging somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you do.
Well, the daughters will say they were shortchanged because when Jake came, which is my stepdad, he was the only boy. So, of course, he was the baby. And so, but I mean, you know, she somehow managed to love everybody. And I'm like,
I mean, but that's the thing is no matter what we do, if we pour more into our kids, then our work is going to lack. If we pour more into our work, then our family is, you know what I mean? There's always going to be something. And so.
And I think at different times it's going to be one thing. You know, it doesn't always have to be my kids.
No, there's always something that's going to have to be like, you know, like I'm going to have to drop this one so that I can lift this one up for a minute.
I mean, again, it's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance.
And it's learning how to say no. You know what I mean? Like, it's like saying, you know what, you know, say for instance, Caitlin calls me up. She's like, hey, let's go have dinner. I need to have dinner with my family tonight. I need to spend some time with my child and my husband. Like, I need that, you know? And that's
I'll
okay.
never say no to that.
You know?
I'm out.
I mean, it depends on where we're going and if she's paying. No, I'm just kidding. But
that is normally how I get. I'll pay for it. Oh,
okay.
So, in a nutshell, you know, moms carry everything. They do it all. You are required, responsible for tiny humans. Some have a spouse. Your jobs, your extracurricular activities that your children decide, this week I'm gonna try this and I'm gonna do this.
Candace has one that volunteers for everything.
Projects, you know, like I don't know about y'all, but I've done a couple of projects for some kids in my day. Like, you know, I don't get to bed till 11 some nights just because I'm trying to soak up. Because my kids are older, so I don't have much time left. And so I'm like, to that point in my life where I'm like, Kenzie, you want to go have a mommy-daughter date? And she's like, no. Or sometimes she's like, yeah, if you're going to buy me something. I'm like, okay, come on. We'll go to Target. You know, and Jay is in this age where he's like, no, that's weird. I'm like, but I love you. No. So it is hard. And I know that when our kids look back at everything, they're going to know and they're going to remember and they're going to see everything we did was for them. In my opinion. So that wraps us up. Thanks for watching. #Mom Squad. Diagnosis, Mom Polar. We would love to answer any questions, or if you have any ideas on how to manage being a parent and living life and working, go ahead and comment below and we'll answer. We'll agree or disagree, whatever. We will see you next week. Thank you.
Bye.